Let me get there right there. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Yes. 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 Whew. Yes. I just got back from Tulsa, and it's funny because every time I tell people I went on vacation to Tulsa, to Oklahoma, they're like, "Oh, what'd you do over there?" I'm like, "All right, I gotta break it down to them, break it down for them, and let them know the real reason I went on a vacation to such a historic tragedy." We are gonna talk about a few things. Honestly, I'm gonna jump right into it. Me and two other friends, we just came back from visiting Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, more commonly known as Black Wall Street, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But we visited Greenwood, we visited Tulsa, and we were there for a whole week. We were able to enjoy such a cultural experience. We got to see the Greenwood Rising Cultural Center. We walked up and down Greenwood Avenue several times. As you can see, I got a lot of merch. I got some shorts on that I bought there. I have an abundance of books, including this one. I had the honor and privilege of seeing a live, in-person keynote speech by Chris Gardner. A lot of y'all know the movie Pursuit of Happiness that Will Smith and his son did. I got to meet the real Chris Gardner. I didn't have the opportunity to shake his hand, but yo, I sat in front of him and he spoke. He delivered a keynote speech. It was amazing, and he included a hand-signed book to everyone who attended the conference. We went to a day conference in Tulsa, so this is really powerful. I'm definitely gonna read this book. I also got Black Ink. This is literary legends on the peril, power, and pleasure, wow, of reading and writing. Beautiful book. I bought that. And also this guy right here, this is the encyclopedia of the Black arts movement. So this expands the Harlem Renaissance, and I believe it goes all the way up to modern arts and history and culture. So this is gonna be a good read. This right here, The Victory of Greenwood. Why am I talking about books? I'm gonna get to that in a second. But The Victory of Greenwood. This book here, and this is where I'm gonna stop and talk about Black Wall Street versus Greenwood, and why I kind of have issues with these new Black Wall Streets popping up. But that's just neither here nor there. That book right there, I'm gonna pull up. Victory of Greenwood is a historic account of the community of Greenwood, not just about Black Wall Street, but about the history of Greenwood. I'm gonna say that again. This book is not just about Black Wall Street. It is about the history of Greenwood. And this, let me tell you why this is so important. When I was up there, like, to witness what actually happened, you know, documentaries provide information, reading up on articles provide information, but I wanted to go to the source. And when I physically saw the long-term effects of the Tulsa Race Massacre, it almost broke my spirit. Like, it was heavy. That community, that land, most importantly, not just buildings were taken, not just businesses were destroyed, not just insurance claims were not responded to. Ownership was taken from that community. Ownership, that's so important, because a lot of people talk about and publicize the glamour of Black Wall Street, but I got to meet members of the community of Greenwood, the actual city, the district, excuse me, Greenwood Avenue, and I'm just like, everyone's out here low-key, high-key commodifying the whole Black Wall Street. There's apps out there that are called the Black Wall Street app, and that's cool. I'm not like saying there's a problem with that, but I think it's important for everybody to really know what they're talking about, and for everybody to have a reference and a perspective of what they're actually reincarnating. Because, for example, I've seen, you know, instances where people use the name Black Wall Street just to take advantage of what that means, and that's what I have a problem with. They take advantage of what that means to just get people's attention. There's a reason why my platform, our palette, is connecting black businesses. It is a virtual hub for black success, but it's not called Black Wall Street. It's called something new. Like, I'm not trying to be Black Wall Street. I'm just trying to be me. But I do understand that black economics and group economics is important. So of course I'm gonna follow the blueprint that Greenwood set forth, but it's very important, crucial even, for us to really pay respects to Greenwood. That's just my thing. It really sucks because they don't have ownership or trademarks over that term, Black Wall Street. They don't have anything. They don't even own the land that the Greenwood Cultural Center is built on. There was a baseball field that cuts right into Greenwood Avenue. There are 2 overpass bridges that cut directly through Greenwood Avenue. Their land was taken, their ownership was taken, and that's really screwed up. Like, so it really bothered me. And again, I'm just speaking objectively. I'm not really calling anyone out, but like, it just bothers me that you have platforms out here that are using that name. I'm just curious, like, do they really know the true history and the value of what they're trying to embody? Because that extracts a heavy toll of responsibility. That's just me. That's just me. When you pull that name, that's carrying weight. And from what I've read in this book so far, I like how it says Greenwood, not Black Wall Street, Greenwood, because Greenwood was before Black Wall Street. It was called Greenwood. That's the name, Greenwood Avenue. So the community members of Greenwood, those are the people who are grieving for the loss of their ancestors, not Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street is a nice little misnomer. It's a nice little nickname that we call it. Yes, Greenwood was a very successful community, but it's just very important to understand, like, just the level of I don't know, it's a lot. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm not gonna speak too much on that. Again, I ain't trying to call nobody out. Listen, I definitely appreciate, you know, platforms like the Black Dollar Network. I appreciate platforms like We Buy Black. I appreciate platforms like Black and Mobile. I appreciate platforms like Local Search. Like, they're all doing that. They're capturing that model of access to black business. That whole model, access to black business, all in one place, one-stop shop. You can go here to get XYZ because you may not be able to find it anywhere else. I love that. That's what our palette also wants to embody. That's what I believe there's another platform called the Black Dollar Network. Like, I respect all of them. I just think it's important for us to pay respects and to really understand the level of responsibility we have when it comes to furthering our community, period. That's honestly what it comes down to. When it comes to making sure that if you're gonna do something that's for the people, by the people, make sure it's also vetted by the people too. And that includes, you know, the people that came before you, people that have come after you, the people that are with you now. Like, you gotta really put all that together and make sure that, listen, this, I keep holding this book up, but like, I can't wait to finish this book because this just teaches me a lot of perspective that I did not have, that no article can teach you, that no documentary can teach you. There was systemic erasure happening here. So there's just things that I learned when I was physically in there, in that atmosphere, that you just can't get remotely. I think it's important for everybody who has a mission to re-embody, to reincarnate what Greenwood was, what the concept of Black Wall Street was, to take a visit to Tulsa. Take a visit. Go and look at Oaklawn Cemetery, where they are currently digging up evidence of mass grave sightings. They just now started doing that, like 2 years ago, I believe. Go and take a look at that. Take a walk down Greenwood Avenue and see what the place looks like. Look at all of the plaques that represent the buildings that were burned down. Some were reopened, some were not ever reopened. And that's another thing this book touches on, is that there was a Reconstruction era actually after the massacre. People don't know that. It's just important to know the full story from before, during, and after. It's not just about the massacre. That was just the apex of the tragedy, of the tragic history. But this talks about the victory, the come up, the glow up. It's important to know the full story. That's all I'm saying. But that's that on that. I'm gonna put these right here because these are just excellent books. So, boom. I have this.